Hey everyone, today we're making some mint chip ice cream. One of my favorites. It's creamy and delicious, and it's made with real ingredients, so you can feel good about serving this to your family. With the Cuisinart ice cream maker, this is quick and easy. You're going to love it. It just takes a few minutes, and we're going to get into it right after my chef joke. What do you get if you paint a pink pig mint green? A pigment of your imagination. All right, let's get started. The first thing we need to do is separate our egg yolks from our egg whites. And for some reason, these egg whites were really almost sticky-like. It was hard to separate them. But I like to use my hands. It seems to be quick and easy, and I have pretty good control, and I don't break the yolk very often. So just toss them back and forth in your hand until they separate, and then put the yolk into a pan. My recipe calls for 4 to 5 egg yolks. Today I used 4, but you can certainly use 5, and I'd almost recommend it because the eggs add richness and they really contribute to a smoother texture of your ice cream. Now to our pan, we're going to add 2 cups of organic heavy whipping cream. The ingredients in this are perfect, just cream. That's the way I like it. Don't forget, you can get the written recipe below the video in the description area. Next, I added some sugar. That was about 2/3 of a cup, along with 1.5 cups of whole milk. Last is about 1/8 of a teaspoon of some salt. I'm going to mix that real well, and then off to the stove we go. We've got this over medium-low heat, and we're going to whisk it until it gradually comes up to a temperature of 180 degrees Fahrenheit. So your instant read thermometer really comes in handy here. Once your mixture reaches 180 degrees, you're going to notice that it thickens a little bit, and that's good. You're going to pour it through a strainer, and then what this is going to do is just filter out any little clumps or curdlings that you might have in your egg mixture. Remember, we want our ice cream to be as smooth as silk. Now to this, I'm going to add a teaspoon of real vanilla extract, along with 1.5 teaspoons of peppermint extract. Give that a nice stir to mix everything in, and let this sit out at room temperature until it cools a bit so you can put it in the refrigerator. This is best chilled overnight before putting it in the ice cream maker. Speaking of ice cream makers, don't forget to freeze your ice cream insert. This needs to be frozen 24 hours in advance before you want to make that ice cream. So now that we have some time before we mix our ice cream, we're going to make our chocolate flakes. Instead of using chocolate chips, I'm going to make my own, and they just seem to melt better, and you don't get this big hard piece of chocolate when you're eating your ice cream. So we need some parchment paper here placed on a baking sheet. For the chocolate chips, I'm using my favorite, of course, is Goutard. These are semi-sweet. Measure them out. I'm using about 7 ounces here. I'm melting mine in the microwave. You could also put it in a double boiler if you like. So anyway, put it in a bowl, and you're just going to heat it on high for 20-second increments. Give it a stir in between each 20 seconds and until it's smooth, and then you're good to go. At this point, I'm going to add just 1/2 teaspoon of coconut oil, and this is just going to keep the chocolate nice and crispy, if you will. So just stir that in, and now we're going to pour it over our parchment paper. Next, I like to use an offset spatula to really thin this out. We want to spread it out so that the chocolate is like 1/8 of an inch. We want it nice and thin. If you make it too thick, then it's going to be bigger chunks, and that's what we're trying to avoid here. Once you get the chocolate nice and thin, just pop the whole thing in the freezer. It'll take a couple hours to get it frozen. It's been 24 hours, so you're going to take your chocolate, slide it right off onto a cutting board, and work quickly. What we're going to do here is just chop it up, and you'll notice that the chocolate does want to melt. So that's why you've got to work quick. Chop it all up into small pieces, nice and, little. I like it small. And then pop it back on the tray and put it back in the freezer. Put your frozen insert into the machine. Give your mixture a little whisk, make sure everything's well combined. Add the churning apparatus, make sure that's in there, and then pour your liquid into the machine. Add the lid and turn the unit on, and it should churn for somewhere between 25 and 30 minutes. Just check it out at 25 minutes. Here it is at about 25 minutes and it's looking mighty fine. It's almost time to add those chips. When I see those mounds really starting to develop like you do here, that's when you add the chips. Go for it. I just did it scoops at a time until it was incorporated. And when you get down to the last few crumbs, just pick up that parchment paper and toss them in. Doesn't this look just amazing? It's so creamy and minty. It's great. You're going to love it. All right, we'll take the churner out, and then I'm going to place this in a glass dish because I prefer that over plastic. And you just want to put a cover on it, stick it in your freezer. You guys are going to enjoy dessert for a couple of days, if it lasts that long. You can certainly eat the ice cream soft serve just out of the machine, but I like to freeze it up a little bit like I've done here and serve it up this way. Let me know in the comments who's going to make this ice cream, and of course if you do try it, let me know down in the comments. Let's say you try my mint chip ice cream and you want to try another flavor of mine. Well, I've got you covered. Here is one of my favorites. It is my chocolate ice cream recipe. It's so chocolatey and creamy, you're going to love it. This one is a definite must try. Click the link on the screen and it'll take you right to the recipe. Thanks for watching everybody, and we'll see you in the next video.